All right, we are going to go ahead and get started. So welcome again, everyone, to this week's Webinar Wednesday, presented by Boundary Systems. This week, we're going to be talking about Creo View Express, which is one of the members of the Creo View family of products, or Creo View suite of products. And the interesting thing about Creo View Express is that it is completely free to use. So without any sort of license whatsoever, anybody can go ahead and download this right off the internet and get started using it in just a few minutes. So for that reason, I think it's a bit different than most of the different software we've talked about, and to me, really exciting. So before we get started, here is an agenda of what we're going to cover today. Pretty basic stuff. I'm first going to do an introduction to myself and Boundary Systems. I'm then going to do an introduction to Creo View Express. I'm going to talk about what exactly it is and what it can do, and additionally where it falls in this Creo View product suite, what the other versions of Creo View are, and when you might want to upgrade to one of those. And then I'll give a little demonstration, and that'll be kind of two parts. First will be how to actually download and get started with Creo View Express, since I know people may be wanting to do that right away since it's free. And then I'll actually get into the program and show what this can do. At the very end, I'll get to question and answer. If anyone has questions throughout, feel free to submit them in the questions section, and I will get to them when I can. All right, so brief introduction to myself and Boundary. My name is Sevi. I've been working at Boundary for about 3 years. So I've worked with Creo for about 3 years, and before that I worked with various other CAD software, including SolidWorks and AutoCAD. I come from an engineering background. Boundary Systems is a technology leader in the PTC product realm. We offer a lot of different services for PTC products, so that can include the licenses themselves, in addition to consulting and simulation type work, product lifecycle management and data management through Windchill, training courses, etc. Not going to stay too long on this, just some awards. The important one would just be authorized training partner for Creo Windchill, MathCAD, ArborText, and some other things as well. And here on this next slide are just a few other programs that we work with that are outside of PTC. So we do have several other software that we do work with that we think fill some other niche that a PTC product doesn't quite fill yet. Big ones here include eTraj, KeyShot, Moldex 3D, etc. All right, so moving on to Creo View Express. We can see in red, I think most important here is that it's completely free to use and easy to download and install, so anybody can get started right away with this. But what this can actually do and what it is for, it is a version of Creo View, and Creo View will allow you to open and view Creo files without actually giving you the ability to edit them. So Creo View Express is in that suite of products, and that's going to be the main functionality, is going to be opening Creo files to look at them. So if you have, if your company does anything with Creo and you personally do not have Creo Parametric, so the entire big Creo suite, you can use Creo View to still look at these models, get some idea of what they look like. You can use the measure tool to actually see how big an angle is, how wide something is, get an idea of exactly how big the model is in space. You can then use the markup functionality, so you can add notes For example, if you are some kind of salesperson who's opening a model that your engineering team made, you can add notes for them, maybe something like what color is this going to be, how is this going to be built into the bigger assembly, whatever you may think of. Just some additional functionality I didn't cover. We can do 2D and 3D Creo files. So that'll include parts and assemblies, 3D file types, as well as drawing formats. We can choose to view different parts of large assemblies or hide other parts if we would like. For example, if we open a car file, so a big assembly file that has all the different parts of a car, we can choose to hide certain parts at once, such as the interior, the body, the engine, etc., to look at whatever part we would like to more specifically. We can also make cross sections, so we can essentially cut our model along the X, Y, or Z axis and see what's going on inside of it. So again, using the car example, we can make a cross section that essentially cuts our car in half. And that allows us to see exactly what's going on in there. Besides that, we can zoom, pan, rotate, or spin. We can view annotations or markups. We can also use the measure tool, as I mentioned. So this does fit into the Creo View suite of products. This is the free version, and one tier above that is Creo View Lite. The additional tier above that with the most functionality is Creo View MCAD. Now, depending what you're going to be using this for, you may want to upgrade down the line to get some of this additional functionality. Most of the functionality is actually going to be included in Creo View Express, so I do recommend just going ahead and downloading it. There's no really reason not to, since it's free, and if you do find yourself needing more functionality, you can always upgrade down the line. All right, so next I'm going to just move on to demonstration. I mentioned that this is going to be kind of two parts. The first part, I'm going to walk you through how to actually download and install this. The second part, I'll get into Creo View Express itself. So first, here I just have PTC's website open, and this is the Creo View Express page on PTC's site. And you can get to this really easily just by Googling Creo View Express. And this is actually the first thing that's going to come up. It'll say something like download Creo View Express here, and it'll take you to this web page. So here we can see we have some sample models. If you want a Creo model to open up and play around with, if you don't have one specific to your company, these are pretty cool and at least pretty nice for demonstration purposes to start using yourself. Additionally, on this page, we do have a comparison of Creo View Lites to the other versions. So if I pull up this spreadsheet, we can see Creo View Express here on the left, which is the one we're covering today. That's free to use. Then we have Creo View Lite, Creo View MCAD. So this is basically all the functionality that any of these programs has. We can see that Creo View Express does have most of it, but some functionality you will have to upgrade if you want it. So this is pretty easy to find if you want to, if you're curious, I'm gonna look through that. Besides that, download is just right here, just on this page. Really easy to find and get started, as I said. So when we go through this download, I'm not actually going to do it right now, but when we do this, we download and install. It's really, really easy. But one thing I want to mention is how to actually find and open the application once you do this install. So if I click download here, it'll basically start that, which I'm not going to do. and then I'll just run this exe when the download finishes, and it'll start the install. When that is done, I found that it doesn't actually put a Creo View Express icon or anything on your desktop, and it can be a little tricky to find. So I'm just going to show you how to get there. What we're going to do is we're going to go into our hard drive. So my example, just my C drive. Then we're going to go Program Files and PTC. And then in this example, we got Creo View Express 8.0. If you're watching this video in the future, then it may be 9.0 or something different. In that case, this folder would be different. But in our situation, it's going to be in Creo 8.0 file. Then we have View Express, and then bin. So this Creo View Express 8.0, I actually, I believe I created this option myself. I believe that when I downloaded this, the only thing that actually comes in here is this PV Express. And this is actually how we're going to open this up and run it. I think the P stands for PTC, so PTC Creo View Express. But I did have quite a bit of trouble actually finding this the first time I downloaded it. You know, doing a window search for Creo View Express didn't actually pop this up because, as I said, I think I created this icon myself. So I just wanted to include that in the webinar in case you have a similar problem and you're not able to find this application once you download it. Just follow this file path right here and click this PV Express, and that's going to go ahead and open up the program. So I'm just going to do that. I already have it open, but just to show the process from start to finish, I'll just go ahead and pull this up right now. And I said this many times, but you know, completely free to use. So everybody, even at home on their home computer, could be, you know, at the point I'm at right now, if you would like. So here we can see that it looks a bit like Creo, but much simpler. If you don't have experience with Creo View of any sort, it's essentially a simpler version of Creo. You don't have any kind of editing functionality, but you do have some additional functionality that I will show here. So I'm going to go to File, Open, and I mentioned we can open 2D or 3D. So to start out, I'm just going to open up a drawing file. All right, we can see this looks just like it does in Creo. My ribbon is just going to be a little different, a little bit more limited. So we have our zoom options here, nothing too complex. We can zoom in, zoom out, draw a zoom window. And additionally, we have markup functionality as well. So we have the measure tool. I can either use summary, which will kind of just guess what I'm trying to measure. So if I click this circle here, it'll, I assume, give me a diameter or radius. That's probably what it'll guess. Looks like I was wrong. It's actually giving me the length of this arc segment. So if I then go ahead and switch this to diameter, it will give me the diameter. From there, I can go ahead and click and drag, move this around wherever I'd like. We'll notice that I have this additional window over on the right, and it looks just like the measure tool in Creo, if you are familiar to that. So we have the reference that we're selecting. In this case, it's that arc, and we're going to see results, the diameter and the value units, etc. I can then click this check mark to essentially add it to this view here. And voila. So from here, if I'm just going to add a note really quick, we can do leader notes, so that'll attach to something specific, or just free note showing somewhere in our, you know, wherever we click our mouse. So I'm just going to put a leader note in here. We can see we have formatting options. We can change how this looks. For example, the shape of the note, color, background, line style, etc. And once again, we can move this however we would like. So when we're done here, we can actually print current view or send active view to email. So in the case of some kind of salesperson or manager who doesn't actually work in Creo Parametric, but would want to, draw some markups, add some notes, and then email this to somebody, it's really easy to do that. As you notice, it just takes, a couple minutes to get it into here, look at it, measure it, mark it up, send it out. So next, I'm going to open a 3D file. So this is just an assembly made in Creo, .assembly file.asm. We'll notice that when we open this, nothing is going to show up in the model window or the graphics window right away. We are actually going to have to check these boxes in the part tree. So if I just check this top checkbox, it'll select everything. And we can see that it now shows in my graphics window. If I expand all of these sub-assemblies, we can see all these components, they show up separately, and I can check them or uncheck them, whichever I would like, either at the sub-assembly or assembly level or at the, individual part level. So we already talked about markup options here. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but I am just going to show how this kind of displays in 3D. I just clicked summary here, and it's going to give us the surface area by default. If I'm just going to create a distance actually, just to show that we can select multiple references. If I hold Control here, I'm going to select something on this side, something on this side. There we go. We can see that it's going to give us the minimum distance between the two. If I open this up, we'll now have actually two different references listed in our references. Besides that, most of this is going to be, the same as 2D. One thing to note, if I make a note here, it is actually it's basically displaying in 3D space where I create it. So now if I kind of move and rotate, we'll see it was created on this plane that I'm viewing. When I move and rotate, it is actually in 3D. So that's kind of cool as well. All right. So going back to our Home tab in the ribbon up here, we'll see that we do have a few more options than we did in 2D. First of all, we have orientation. So if any of these were created in the assembly, we can have custom view angles, or we can use these various defaults if we would like. These hiding and showing options are essentially the same as checking or unchecking, but we can do things like isolate, so that will only show what I select and it'll hide everything else, or we can unhide all. We have render mode. So I'm going to just go ahead and click through these, but we just have a few different render modes, different ways that we can look at these assemblies. So right now we're on shaded by default. I'm just going to go through these. So we have shaded with edges, HLR. We can see what happens when I hover over the part as well. Wireframe. And lastly, mesh, which is really cool, I think, render option we have available here. And back to shade. We can also move individual components of this assembly with this transform option. So if I click transform, we'll see that I just get a dragger. I can move in any of the X, Y, or Z directions. We'll see it'll even give me a distance there that I'm dragging. Or we can just click the middle and kind of freely drag it around. We also have these rotation options as well. From here, I can either capture location if I want to, keep it in certain configurations, or I can just restore location. And you can see that that just moved everything right back to where it was. All right. Next we have sectioning. So I mentioned that we can make cross sections as well in the X, Y, and Z direction. So just to show that, I created one here in the X direction. From here, we can just click and drag, and we'll see that we can see a cross section anywhere along this direction, this X direction. We can cap section or leave them uncapped, like I'm doing right now. If we'd like to see, where this model is solid, where it's hollow. I can switch this in the other directions as well. So we have Y direction that way and Z direction. All right. So that brings us to the end of my demonstration on Creo View Express. If anyone has any questions on this, I'm going to give you a few minutes to, just a minute or two to type those out. And I'm going to go ahead and answer those now. But just to conclude, Creo View Express, I think, is extremely useful for anyone who wants to look at Creo files without actually having or knowing how to use Creo themselves. So I would encourage you all to just go and download this. And I don't think there's really a reason not to if you don't already have Creo View. And I think a lot of companies can get use out of this pretty much immediately. And I think there are some people, at every company that should be able to start incorporating this into their workflows and get some value out of it. All right, we have a few questions here. First, we have, will a new version automatically upgrade an older version, or will it install separately? The answer to that is it will install separately. So kind of similar to Creo, how we can have multiple versions of Creo on one computer. Well, you may not have known that, but they don't really replace each other. You can have Creo 6, 7, 8, etc. In the same way, these are going to be essentially separate if you were to download a newer version in the future. So if we have Creo View Express 9, that would download separately, and you would still have Creo View Express 8. It gets a little bit more complex, actually. Just one additional point to mention. All the other Creo views besides Express are the same download. So that includes Creo View Lite and MCAD, those two upgrades I talked about. But Creo View Express is actually separate. So just wanted to mention that if you do already have Creo View Lite or something similar, this would once again be separate, even if they are in the same version. So I just wanted to mention that. Let's see. Next question is, can you bring MBD into Creo View Express? So this is a really good question because the answer should be yes, but I have not been able to figure out how to do it yet, just to be honest. So I need to confirm that you can do MBD in Creo View Express. For anyone unfamiliar, MBD is model-based definition. So essentially what that means is adding dimensions and other annotations directly to the 3D part or assembly rather than the drawing. So the question is, can we view these dimensions in 3D part or assembly? Can we view these in Creo View Express? And the answer is we're supposed to be able to. I have not been able to figure out how to display these yet. So that is something that I would encourage you to try and mess around with if you are listening to this in the future. And for Paul specifically, I will get back to you via email after I'm able to look into that and confirm that we can do it. We should be able to. I just am not going to be able to show that because I personally haven't been able to figure it out yet. See, it looks like we do have just a comment from John. Yes, MBD does export to Creo View. So there's more conversation confirmation that it does work. Sorry that I cannot show it today. Next thing we have, can combination states be exported and used in Creo View? Let me think. I'm actually not sure about that. Just 1 second. I'll see if I can figure that out in 20 seconds, and if not, I'll send you an email. So 1 second. Yes, so it seems that we can do this. Doing combined states in Creo View Express, it seems that it is possible. We may have to open a file in Notepad and change a value of something, it appears. Long story short, yes, it's possible. It might be a little tricky, and I will have to send this once again to your email to specifically on how to do it. But it is possible. Let's see. Last question. Are we able to calculate volume, or are we able to get weight in Creo View Express? So I believe the answer to that is actually no. As far as I know, or at least without double checking, I don't think math properties export to Creo View. But once again, let me see if I can get just a definite answer to that, in 20 seconds. It's from everything I can find, we cannot use Creo View for volume or mass properties. If I do find anything on this, I will go ahead and send that to you. So it looks like actually 2 people had this question, Basil and Chris. So from what I can find here, I don't think we can actually use this to calculate volume. So unfortunately, I think that from what I can find, we would need Creo parametric, in order to measure that, unfortunately. Let's see. Aha, okay, I'm so glad I actually found this before I signed out here. Looks like this functionality is actually available in Creo View Lite, but not Creo View Express. So this is an example of something that could be upgraded to the Lite version to have that functionality. All right, I think that is all of our questions. I have my email on the screen. in case anybody has any additional questions they think of as they actually download this and start using it. John, I will email you on how exactly we can view combination states, because as I mentioned, does involve opening something in Notepad. Besides that, thank you everyone for your time. Hope you all have a great rest of your Wednesday.